at noon tomorrow.
Without objection. And for what purpose does the gentleman from Arkansas rise?
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do now adjourn.
The question is on the motion to adjourn. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Accordingly, the House stands adjourned until noon tomorrow.
What a disaster these MAGA Republicans are, eating their own, or as Donald Trump would say, eating their young. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. You just saw right there the House adjourning after another day of chaos on Tuesday. We are now over 3 weeks since MAGA Republicans ousted their own former spineless Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, and they've been attacking each other ever since. Now, Tom Emmer was the most recent MAGA Republican to become the Speaker-designee. He was voted in a roll call secret vote that was taken by MAGA Republicans, but then the other MAGA Republicans undermined him when Donald Trump put out a message: do not support Tom Emmer. Tom Emmer is a rhino and we should not be supporting rhinos. He is not sufficiently loyal to me. And then Tom Emmer, the Speaker-designee, removed himself from contention, and now there is no one at this point in time, as of this recording, who is even the Speaker-designee. Here is Donald Trump after leaving the civil fraud trial in New York, basically bragging that Tom Emmer is no longer in contention. Play this clip.
Tom Emmer, it looks like he's finished. He was not a supporter, he was a rhino, and looks like he's finished, but we'll see. You never know.
Do you support anyone else for Speaker, sir?
I'll let you know.
And here is Marjorie Taylor Greene explaining why she voted to undermine MAGA Republican Tom Emmer as Speaker. And she cites the fact that he voted to certify the 2020 election, even though he was part of the Texas lawsuit to undermine the results of the 2020 election. Also, Tom Emmer previously voted to codify marriage equality. That was another reason why Marjorie Taylor Greene and others in MAGA voted to undermine him. Play this clip.
But I couldn't support him for Speaker of the House. His voting record is what turned me. He had voted against President Trump's ban on transgenders in the military. He voted for the Democrats' gay marriage bill that opens up churches and other places for lawsuits if they use their faith and stand against it. He was for the national popular vote at one time, and that's not a movement I can support.
How much did Emmer's vote to certify the 2020 election have to do with the opposition against him?
Well, it played a big role for me. I voted to object, and I don't think that was a fair election. I think there was a lot of election fraud.
There was another moment during the secret roll call vote where MAGA Republicans were yelling at Tom Emmer to, quote, find Jesus based on his vote for marriage equality. And by the way, I mean, Tom Emmer is a very extreme right-wing MAGA Republican, but apparently not extreme enough. Here in this next clip, Marjorie Taylor Greene basically says that the reason she wasn't supporting him also is that he does not suppress the votes of voters enough. Play this.
Larry, we need a Speaker of the House that reflects the values and the views of Republican voters across the country, and they support President Trump and they support his agenda, and Tom Emmer does not. His voting record, he voted against President Trump's transgender ban in the military. He voted for the Democrats' gay marriage bill that allows churches to be sued if they don't support gay marriages. He also, once had supported the voting rights, the national voting movement that was completely against what we stand for. So that we can't have that for a Speaker of the House. But I'm glad Tom has dropped out of the race, and we've got to work hard to find someone that does support President Trump and does support Republican voters across the country.
Yeah, Mr. Trump tweeted today very critical of Emmer, and so I thought that was quite interesting. Perhaps that led to Emmer's dropping out. I don't know.
And here Marjorie Taylor Greene is reflecting on undermining Tom Emmer and basically says that what Republican members of Congress need to recognize essentially is that you need to pass a Trump purity test if you are to be a member of today's Republican Party. Just listen to her in her own words. Play this clip.
I think this is good. Here's what's going on. The GOP conference is changing, and it's changing to reflect America first. And Republican voters overwhelmingly support President Trump, and the GOP conference and the Speaker of the House should do the same.
Here is Kevin McCarthy, the former spineless speaker, stating that MAGA Republicans and the Republican Party in general, which is now the MAGA Republican Party, is in a very bad place. Play this clip.
The position you face is the same people who ousted you that are opposing him?
No, I only had 8 against me.
Is this the beauty of this conference? Any number of people can always just come together to form an opposition? It feels that way.
We're in a very bad place.
Should he wait until he has 217 votes to go to the floor?
I would. I'd have that discussion here. That's exactly what he's doing right now.
So what if that doesn't happen today?
You're in a very bad place. It's a pretty strong phrase to use. Why do you think you're in a bad place?
We've been 3 weeks without a speaker. We let 8 people work with every single Democrat to put us in here, to go directly against what our conference rules say, that if you do a motion to vacate, you have to have 50% of the conference. And so now we're in a situation where remove the speaker, remove the majority leader from being speaker, remove Jim Jordan from being speaker, every single person that's won. And now we've just gone through a battle with elections of 9 people, 1-1. And now when we had a roll call vote, you couldn't get 217.
But have you heard from anyone?
Yet Kevin McCarthy blames Democrats and says this is the Democrats' fault. How embarrassing for Kevin McCarthy and the MAGA Republicans. Play this clip.
Exactly.
Are you concerned that there are members who are going to get tired of this and might go and start working with Democrats to get a Republican speaker at this point?
That very well can happen, but I'll tell you, every member's tired of this. Every member's tired of those 8 who worked with every single Democrat. So if your question is, are we worried that some members might go work with Democrats? That's already happened. The 8 members worked with every single Democrat to put us in this place. So we're tired of that, of why we're here now, by those 8 who worked with every single Democrat. That is why we're where we are.
What is your option if this doesn't work? Is going to happen today?
I don't have the option. I don't control it. Tom Emmer can decide what he's going to do, but he's listening to everybody, and that's exactly what should happen.
By the way, even Fox is fed up. Here is Fox basically mocking Republicans and saying that they can't count and saying that they should be able to count. Why can't they just count like Nancy Pelosi can? Play this clip.
And you might have to have some whipping going on here where Tom Emmer, as the nominee, he is the whip, needs to make sure that he has the votes lined up. I mean, if you're the whip, you know, you're supposed to be able to count the votes right on a vote on the floor. And, you know, sometimes that's been an Achilles heel for Republicans lately.
Yeah, you know who did it well? Boy, she could count votes, Nancy Pelosi. And Republicans watch that from across the aisle with awe and frustration sometimes.
Did you know that your temperature at night can have one of the greatest impacts on your sleep quality? If you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend that you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Inspired by NASA, Miracle Made uses silver-infused fabrics and makes temperature-regulating bedding so you can sleep at that perfect temperature all night long. Now, using silver-infused fabrics originally inspired by NASA, Miracle Made sheets are thermoregulating and designed to keep you at that perfect temperature all night so you get better sleep every night. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. Miracle sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands and feel as nice, if not nicer, than the bed sheets used by some 5-star hotels. Stop sleeping on bacteria. Bacteria can clog your pores, causing breakouts and acne. Sleep clean with Miracle. Go to trymiracle.com/Meidas to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code Meidas at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Meidas and use the code Meidas to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Meidas to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this.
And believe it or not, folks, there were hearings taking place on Capitol Hill today. Not quite sure how that even goes down, where for all purposes, the House is pretty much shut down from taking action. But I guess the committees are still taking place. The MAGA Republicans had the audacity to hold a hearing on IRS oversight. Yes, the MAGA members of Congress are trying to lecture the IRS and the American people on very complex issues of IRS enforcement, where MAGA Republicans, first, number one, they're responsible for adding $8 trillion to our deficit. And number two, they can't even count to elect their own leader. Yet they are holding these hearings. Here is from the IRS committee hearing. This is Democratic superstar Jasmine Crockett saying, "What are you MAGA people doing?" Play the clip.
You'd agree? Okay. I agree. It's so weird because my colleagues on the other side of the aisle wanted to call this hearing. This is not our first. It's not our second. I've actually lost count myself of how many IRS hearings we're having. And they seemingly feel like they can fix your very complicated issues, but somehow they aren't good at simple math that would get them to a speaker, right. So we've been 3 weeks without one.
Here is Democratic Congressmember Jamie Raskin from that same hearing. Play the clip.
And promised at the beginning of the Trump administration, and we're right in the throes of it. One can only regard with amazement that any member of the Republican Party today would lecture the commissioner of the IRS about efficiency or organization or anything else. Look at what the Republicans are saying about the Republicans today on Capitol Hill as we live through all of the reverberations of the Chaos Caucus. So, the world is burning around us. We're fiddling. We don't have a strategy. That's Representative Steve Womack, Republican from Louisiana. We're fractured, says a member of this committee, Representative Anna Luna from Florida. It's not a normal majority, says Representative Tom Cole, Republican of Oklahoma. Here's Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about the Republicans. This conference is absolutely broken. Here's Kevin McCarthy, who used to be Speaker before he was deposed by the Republicans. This is embarrassing for the Republican Party. It's embarrassing for the nation. Here's Representative David Joyce from Ohio, who probably sums it up best. We're a party that can't govern. Here's Representative Troy Niels from Texas. We're a broken conference. Representative Tom Emmer said if it were a family, quote, we'd be the most dysfunctional family on the face of the planet. Here's Representative Austin Scott, who ran briefly for Speaker in the speakership sweepstakes taking place right now. It makes us look like a bunch of idiots. And Representative Mark Alford from Michigan, another Republican, we are a ship that doesn't have a rudder right now. So it would be great if we could actually get a Speaker of the House and a functioning House of Representatives so we could deal with these issues.
And here is Democratic Congressmember Katie Porter from that same hearing. Play the clip.
Sit in yet another Republican-led hearing to attack the IRS instead of making it work better. Other Republicans are off slashing our entire Congress at the same time. They've stopped Congress from doing its work because they haven't been able to elect a Speaker of the House, so we can't pass any legislation. The most opportunistic Republicans have spent so long attacking our government that now Republicans don't even trust each other. But that's what the opportunists wanted: a weak Congress, a weak IRS. It's what they call smart government. But in reality, it's a federal government that can't serve its people. Right now, the opportunists are creating that reality.
Folks, do you see the difference between MAGA Republican incompetence and our Democratic superstars? And when I say our, I'm talking about the pro-democracy community. You've got MAGA Republicans who would rather continue to shame themselves, embarrass themselves, humiliate themselves, then work across the aisle with Democrats to help the American people, and then have the audacity to try to MAGA-splain to the American people complex issues involving IRS enforcement actions when the MAGA Republicans are the arsonists literally destroying our government. Judge for yourself, folks. Put in the comments how this makes you feel. When you put stuff in the comments, it also helps with the YouTube algorithm. So leave a comment, hit the thumbs up button, hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers here on the MeidasTouch Network. And if you want to support our independent journalism, check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Have a great day.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.